Hey, this is the Prophet with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain. We here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks? This where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to Prophet. Hey, hey, you talking to the Prophet? Hey, hey. We talking condos and nice clothes and driving Lambos. I remember them night codes, we couldn't stand those. We tried to drive on them high roads, but had to stay low. Now there's solutions to hard bills we couldn't pay for. I talked to Prophet to get some profit, we couldn't change the top. If it's a stock and I need a cop it, I wait for him to drop it. Ain't no option, let's get it poppin'. We chillin' in the trap. I need some crypto, put it in my pocket by any means I rock. This is the Prophet with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain, we here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks? This where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to Prophet. Hey, hey, you talking to the Prophet. Hey, hey, you talking to the Prophet.
Well, let's see. That is my Cardano NFT collection. It is tiny, but it's not the size of your NFT. It's how you use it. So we'll get to that later, but it's kind of cool. I was not a fan of any of the Cardano, of any of them. Space Buds is stupid. The artwork is terrible. Most of the Cardano NFTs, the artwork is awful. But there's this GAN network called GANBot that's been putting out these series, which is these adversarial networks. Basically, it's not quite AI, but it's narrow machine learning. And basically, machines are spitting out artwork, these landscapes, and they're really cool, kind of that Van Gogh style. So I like that style of artwork. And so I started collecting some, and they're just only 2 series in. Each one of the series is like 300 pieces. And so I'm just trying to buy low numbers in each one. I'm going to buy 2 or 3 low numbers in each one. The cool thing is, if you have Daedalus, you can buy it. You basically go directly from Daedalus. You purchase the art. The dudes give you the art, and it shoots back to Daedalus. So you have it in your private wallet, which is really cool. So, yeah, we'll get to that. So let's say hello to everyone. We'll go in reverse order. That if I go in reverse order, I won't miss anyone except for the new people that I won't miss. CC Brown, Solid Gold, Sporella, Gordon Bennett, Biotech Breakout over on Theta. Hello. For those of you on Trading TV, hello. We haven't integrated because Trading TV's it's rolling out in phases. So we haven't been able to yet integrate the chat. We will at some point. We will get to that. But right now, we're just rolling the things out that give people access to the content, and we'll get there. So that's cool. Tony, hello. Tony Langer. Patsy, Jerry in the house. Michael, what's up? The advanced stuff. This is not advanced stuff. That's the problem. In crypto, it's all advanced. There is no basic crypto unless you go to Clubhouse and listen to those idiots from Swan Bitcoin. Like, I'm going to teach you how to get so rich with Bitcoin. Well, I'll teach you how to get rich with Bitcoin. Buy it and don't do anything else. Done. You guys just save thousands of dollars in headaches and dealing with idiots, because that's the system. You buy it, you hold it, you do nothing, you walk away, and then you come back 3 years later, and guess what? You have more currency units. Yes. All right, system. Scott, Sebastian, what's going on? JD, Johnny Midas, what's up? Nara, Demayan, I get that a lot. Let's see. Timothy, Michael, Expat Matt, Crypto for Life, Breakfast Leadership. I like dinner leadership, but you know what? You're okay too. YOLO Buck. What's going on? Come on, buttons. Let's see. Scorpion, yes. Biotech Breakout, yes on the other one. And Sylvia Scott Parno. I might get some of you twice, but that's okay. Brady, of course. Joe Fernandez, ¿Qué onda? I think Joe was the very first. La Primera. Let's see. And where are you? You're in Palm Springs. Woo, that's probably hot. Michael, what's up? Okay, cool. So I think we got everybody. We'll get this thing started. So let's see. What's going on in your world? If you guys have a question or a query or a quandary, just put the word question or like a big Q, put some parentheses around it so I know you're asking a question. Otherwise, I'll assume you're just kind of chatting with the chat. I watched a really cool live presentation this morning from David Hansen. It was a Zoom, but it was on Twitter, or pushed through Twitter, whatever, on Hansen Robotics and what they're doing with these the more complex robots as they interact with children from a healthcare perspective and all this other kind of stuff. And while the quality of the Zoom was kind of yucky, the quality of the content was not yucky. It was actually really good. So before we get into anything, we said hello. Before we get into anything, let's have our commercial, non-commercial, commercial breaks, and then we'll come back, and then we will start this Blood Red Tuesday. Okay, so we're back. And so what I've started doing is on the bottom, instead of doing a rolling price tick, you guys don't give a crap about the price. Hopefully you're watching this show. We've learned enough that price is not that important. So in and around that, we're not gonna really worry so much about the prices of these assets other than to get a relative idea of where the market is and where people's sentiment is. So yeah, that's right. AGIX does close off their staking. Now, I'm going to tell people, don't stake. Well, here's my play. You do whatever you want. Not advice, but you do whatever you want. But what I think is, don't stake all of your AGIX. I'm not, because I want to keep some for the token sales. If you stake all of it, that's great. You're going to get some good airdrops. But so far, when they did Singularity DAO, when you buy the token, AGIX is one of the liquidity pools to buy the new token. So I believe NewNet is coming next. And if NewNet is coming next, it would make sense that you would want some AGIX to buy some NewNet tokens as well, if you're into this idea of buying all the verticals underneath AGI, Singularity Net, which I am. So if all of your AGIX is staked, then you would have to go back to the market and buy more when everybody else is going back to the market and buying more to get ready to participate in the public sale. But if everybody's going to buy more and there's not a lot of liquidity, or at least there are tighter markets like on KuCoin, and I think Gate also has it, and you can swap into it and all this, but you could see a situation where the price of AGIX spikes up really fast as people run to grab the token, to spend the token to buy NewNet or whatever's the first company that, I think it's NewNet first. I think it's going to go NewNet Rejuve, True AGI, or NewNet Rejuve, Sophia DAO. Anyway, we'll know more as it happens. Oh, since we're doing public service announcements, that's a good idea. Let's talk Fetch for a second. You need to have your Fetch, you need to have the native token either in the native, meaning the new token, the Cosmos token. You need to have your Fetch converted to that new token by the snapshot on the 20th, as far as I understand. And if you don't, it's going to be some kind of weird reconciliation process sometime in 2022, which is to get the Mobix airdrop. So you want that airdrop. You want all airdrops. It's free stuff, right? CC Brown asks, how do you get your Fetch off of the old staking site? Seem to be locked up along with, if you didn't free up your Atomics and Metalix, I think they may be stuck for a while until they unstick those sometime next year, if they do, however they do it. However, your Fetch, if you're on the old site, that's when you need to set up. It's a process. I would say go to their Telegram, Fetch AI's Telegram. They have all of these walkthroughs and Medium articles where you'll basically go old staking. You'll set up a new wallet. You'll port over your private keys from MetaMask to connect the MetaMask you used to take the tokens and park them in Fetch with so that it associates that account. Then it's going to take your tokens and spit out the new tokens into a fetch wallet. It's the Kepler wallet. So what you look up is fetch wallet or fetch Kepler wallet, not just the Kepler wallet, KEPLR, but fetch Kepler wallet. You'll set up that wallet on your computer. And one of the options when you set up the wallet as you're beginning is migrate from ETH, migrate from Ethereum. So when you migrate from Ethereum, it'll ask you, okay, your private keys for your MetaMask. You put the private keys. You just do it real quick. You take it from MetaMask, put it in there, shut your MetaMask down. It just verifies that that's the right account. And then your tokens appear within a few seconds. All of your tokens that were staked at Fetch Mainnet appear in that new wallet. You can then send them directly to Cosmos Station right then, that second. It doesn't take very long. So that's the process if you've already staked your Fetch on the old staking platform. If your Fetch is at Coinbase, is at KuCoin, or wherever it is, or sitting on MetaMask, you need to get it to MetaMask. Then you will go from MetaMask through the token bridge to Cosmos Station, meaning you have to set up a Cosmos Station Fetch account. It's very easy, but you're still it's a new wallet. The problem is you either have to use your phone, or what I recommend, use like an iPad or an old phone that is not connected to the internet or not connected to cell service, but maybe only Wi-Fi or something like that. So you can set up the wallet. Anyway, don't set it up on your main phone device so that it can't get stolen. So they're doing a web wallet, Cosmos Station is, but the Fetch Cosmos Station web wallet, as far as I understand, is not yet ready. So you would go into MetaMask with your Fetch. From MetaMask, you go through the token bridge, which looks like this. Yeah, unlock. Give me a second. Internet's been sucking. I'm actually pivoting from my phone today. It's a total mess. So you'll use this. This is the token bridge. And what the token bridge looks like is you see on the left side, it says ERC20 to native. This is if you're going old token to new. Think ERC20 as old, native, new. Old to new. The old is going to be in your MetaMask. So your Ethereum address is your MetaMask address. Okay. The native address is going to be, and this isn't the address, but it's going to be your new Cosmos Station. Oh, Jesus. Address. It's going to look like this. FET and then blah, 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 and some numbers and stuff like that. Okay. That's going to be it. So, and then the amount, whatever 1,000. Now it knows when you connect the token bridge to your MetaMask so that it sees that you would have these new Fetch tokens in there. So you'll say, oh, I have 1,000 tokens, and it'll say amount larger than available Fetch. Why? I don't have any Fetch in my MetaMask because I've already done this. Them tokens gone. I've already staked it. So MetaMask, that's the top one. That's this one right here. Your new Cosmos Station wallet that you just set up, a Fetch Cosmos Station wallet, which is going to give you a Fetch address right here as the native address. Native is new, and the amount of tokens you want to transfer. And it will push through. The transaction can take anywhere from 1 minute to 2 hours. So don't panic. Okay. So then the tokens show up. And what this bridge does is goes from the old token, transfers to the new token. So now you have the new tokens, and they're over on Cosmos Station. The cool thing there is there you stake, and there you're getting anywhere from 18 to 21, 22%. Yes, all the time. It's dope. So, and also when they do the airdrop snapshot for Mobix, that's right, Mobix, they'll take a snapshot of all the wallets on the 20th of October, meaning 8 days. So give yourself a 2-day cushion. Get this thing knocked out in the next few days, in the next 5 days, 7 days, you're fine. And then you're going to get an airdrop. I don't know what that's going to look like, but all the other airdrops have been okay. Not terrible. And besides, it's free tokens. If you don't like those tokens, just sell those and buy more Fetch. Or you buy whatever the hell you want. But the point is, get the tokens, right? So there's all of our public service announcements before we've gone and talked about prices. the entire space, the whole crypto space as it stands, military finance, honest thoughts. Justin, I have no thoughts on that. None. I have zero opinion. It sounds just going off of the name of the token, I'd say it's pretty stupid. Do you want to invest crypto money or real world money to make the military industrial complex bigger and more efficient? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not saying no. Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. Probably would. If there's money in it, I probably would. And say, note, the compound interest demo you have done using dollars is inaccurate. Use tokens and you'll be on point. Well, dollars and tokens, and it doesn't matter, Jerry. It's a proxy. So 1 unit is 1 unit. Doesn't really matter. It's immaterial for the sake of the discussion, because whether it says dollars or whether you replace the word USD for tokens, the tokens are going to have their own inherent value or price, and so are dollars. So it doesn't really. I think you might be majoring in the minors on that one. Anyway, let's look at price. Let's look at these prices. Bitcoin has been doing really well over the last couple of weeks. If we were to take a deeper look, the Bitcoin 56.4, it got up to almost 58 yesterday. It flirted with it. It tickled the taint of what, 58K, but came back down a little bit last night. Well, actually early this morning, things started selling off a little bit, which is good. We need that. We need markets to move around and be volatile so we can sell options, which I did. I actually sold the 58s. I sold 58 puts. Okay, Jerry, so as we don't have an ongoing argument during a show, which is silly, it does not matter. It matters nothing. It's a placeholder. $1 or 1 token, you just multiply the value of the token. Again, you're majoring in the minors. You're creating a complex issue out of no issue. How about this, Jerry? You use tokens, and if it works for you, it's awesome. Okay. Carrying on, Bitcoin 56.4. It's up on the 7-day 13.2%, which is really good. Because Bitcoin has been kind of flat for quite a while, and it was melting down, got around 30. You guys remember peak depression, and then it started to melt back up and it got into the mid 40s, and then it went down to the low 40s where it started last week, the mid to low 40s, and then banged up. Variety of reasons. I think some of that's probably ETF front running. I think it's not a certainty, but it's a high likely scenario that one of those 4 Bitcoin ETFs that was punted gets the thumbs up from the SEC. But when I say punted, they decided not to rule on 4 of the applications for a Bitcoin ETF. Now, I know there's these other weird ETFs, these proxy ETFs, and the crypto space ETFs. Those are not this. Those are not the ETFs that everybody's talking about. The ETFs that people are waiting for is, in the United States, a regulated Bitcoin ETF. Jerry, it does not matter. You're missing the point. It could be XYZ coin, and using the term dollar means nothing either. None of it means anything. You're looking at percentages. You are looking at price, and that's a flawed argument. All right, quit looking at the price other than as a proxy for recent behavior. If you're focusing on the price, you are wrong. It's the percentage. You don't care about the price of any of these assets. You don't care about the assumed price of any of these assets. You care about the increase in potential percentage points, because you're looking at an entire ball of value. That is your portfolio. And you want to increase by percentage the size of that ball of value. Little ball into a big ball. It doesn't matter what the dollar amount is, because that's a nebulous, pointless term. The price of any of these assets doesn't matter. You're looking for velocity and safety. Those two together. As much velocity you can get with as much safety as you can get. Quality assets, right? So if you're buying non-quality stuff, I'm sure the volatility is amazing. When we look at like, what was the Matrix AI, the junky, it's called MAN, right? MAN token. The MAN token. Jerry, you're done. No more comments from you. Stop. You're sidelining. You're making an issue confusing to other people that's only confusing to you. Stop. If you guys are focused on price, let me just sum this up. If you're focused on price, you're going to fail, and you're going to fail big because you're missing the point. We don't care about the prices of any of these assets. You just want some mix between quality assets and velocity. Bitcoin right now is the highest quality asset. It's typically the lowest volatility among its peers. Now, you could go into a deeper argument and say, well, Bitcoin has no peers. True. There's not really a lot of good, stable kind of store of value assets that are competing with Bitcoin. Monero is not competing with Bitcoin. Dash is not competing with Bitcoin, not in a meaningful way. There is Bitcoin, and then there is everything else. And that's not a Bitcoin maxi thing. That's just a kind of a common sense thing, at least right now, until there's some other asset. So people, when you hear people, what's better, Bitcoin or Ethereum? The answer is yes. They're like, what do you mean? Well, it isn't. Those two assets are both necessary. They both have a lot of use, utility, and adoption. Are they perfect? No. Bitcoin is slow and clunky and creates a lot of weird problems with localization in areas where it's low aggregate temperature and it's easier to get cheap electricity. And you have the concerns of mining equipment and the companies that have a stranglehold on that market, and you can go all the way down the rabbit hole. And there's a lot of problems with Bitcoin, okay, that have nothing to do with price or volatility or anything like that. There are just a lot of inherent problems with a system where consensus is determined at the end of the day by a few groups. I know there's tons of Bitcoin mining rigs all over the world. There's millions of them, but it still coalesces into groups, and there's only a few groups, and they basically determine the outcome of validation. So the pure proof of work consensus mechanism has its flaws. Now, the fact that it's slow and clunky and expensive also makes it incredibly safe and secure, because the cost to pervert that is massive, greater than the cost to just get on board, right? So it would, the perversion of Bitcoin, to somehow scam the network and double spend all this kind of stuff would mean to go in with so much hashing power that you could fork that network, get the longest chain, continue to manage that attack, that 51 or actually 34% attack, is if you think about the firewall situation. But you would have to continue to support that attack for a long time. Every 10 minutes, you still have to bombard that network with hash power specific, so that everybody's then forced to go mine the fork, because that's the longest chain. Bitcoin goes by the longest chain. So anyway, if you go down that path, it would be incredibly expensive to maintain that attack. Therefore, you can assume that an attacker is doing it not for some kind of direct financial gain, but some indirect gain. So they're spending billions and billions and billions of dollars in real time in order to pervert the network, because maybe they shorted it, because maybe they're a government that doesn't like the idea, because of one of a variety of game theoretical reasons. Okay. And so, I think that that's not likely, and it's not fiscally viable, but it certainly is a non-zero option. Now, that also was made a lot less likely when China opted out of Bitcoin. What I think one of the worst things that China could ever do, I think when China booted the miners, they basically gave up any kind of real control over the Bitcoin network that they could have had. I think they will look back on that and they will say that was probably a mistake. Who knows? China are very good in the long game thinking, so I'm sure they have just hordes of people much smarter than us. But at this point, it looks very stupid what they did. And then you go, okay, that's store of value. What about all these other assets? Where's the, what should I have? Bitcoin and, well, Bitcoin is your store of value, not a currency, by the way. Don't go down that path, because that's a flawed path too. Bitcoin is not a currency. Hyper Bitcoinization is not, it's not a good prospect. I know the maxis will be like, ugh. You don't want hyper Bitcoinization in the sense that other governments use Bitcoin as a currency. Now, the fact that El Salvador and many of these South American countries and other countries all over the world might say, hey, listen, we will let Bitcoin be used for the settlement of debts, both public and private. Legal tender. That's great. That's fine. But those governments aren't going to turn to Bitcoin as their currency, as their day-to-day currency. An asset with a fixed supply doesn't work as a currency, because currencies need currency elasticity. In my opinion, and not just me, other people too, a currency to manage a populace needs to expand and contract with market cycles, expand and contract with population. Why? You say, well, why not just use a fixed supply? Because if you have a fixed supply currency and you have a growing, an increasing or decreasing supply of humans and products, if that currency can't expand and contract, then you have consumer price inflation, right? Because you have to have that currency manage prices. What is it? What does the Fed say? They want price stability and they want maximum employment. Okay? So if you have a fixed supply currency that has zero elasticity, you cannot manage prices of consumer products, because those are two different squigglies. Anyway, so as a store of value asset, as a function where you say, listen, hey, everyone, you're allowed to use this. You're allowed to use this. I would say you need a currency that can expand and contract. And Dubai money. As a thought experiment, Doge probably is a closer, now not Doge because its management is poor, its design is poor. But I mean, anything can have some software upgrades and all that. Is Doge going to be the world's money? Very unlikely, because it's got some problems too. Most of those are the people, right? The community, the team, but all those things can grow. I'm not going to ever say this can never be that, right? Doge can never be, but will Doge be a world currency? Is very unlikely. So what you would see is, again, you don't need Dogecoin. The other thing about Doge, any of these assets, none of the assets we see, I can say this with almost certainty, none of the assets that we look at are going to be world's reserve currencies, because these governments will release their own somewhat stable assets that are pegged to their own fiat currency, a digital version of their fiat currency. Governments aren't going to go, you know what, screw our own ability to enact monetary policy. Let's just use Dogecoin with the 16 people that own 90% of it. That seems fair. Let's go use XRP. No, even the people at Ripple don't think XRP is going to be a world currency. It's only a bunch of rubes that believe that. What is going to more likely happen is that they would leverage one of these protocols and list their asset on top of it because they like some of the technological benefits of that protocol. And they might like the liquidity, and they might like the ease of use, things like that, like the onboarding process, all these kinds of things, which is, I think, what Cardano was really angling for. So and Cardano is not going to be a world currency either. Look, I love me some Cardano, but Cardano is not going to be a world currency. That too is silly. Dot is not going to, Polkadot, Algorand, Matic, Cosmos, Filecoin, none of these, including Bitcoin, are going to be the world's reserve currency, because you can't have a fixed supply world reserve currency, and the dissemination of these tokens would not benefit any of these governments. Why on earth would you take Bitcoin, which is really, let's face it, owned by a few institutions and a couple of early rubes, Winklevi and these guys that own such a significant portion? You can't create a world currency off of something that's owned by 8 dudes. It's the same thing with Ripple. It's the same thing with any of these tokens. But you could say, ooh, I don't know if you would use Ethereum, because anybody that looks deep into it would see that it's tragically flawed, but you would look at a protocol layer and say, ooh, let's lay down our national currency on top of rails that look like this or that are this. In the case of China, they looked at what was out there and they've kind of created their own system. At some point, we should dig into the technological functions of the DCEP, the digital currency for electronic payments. We will not do that today. That is a long, deep, exhaustive journey into the mind of People's Bank of China and the Chinese government and just in general Chinese politics. But they're not, a lot of these projects like we're the best. That's fine. You might have an awesome value proposition. USDC going to be, doing a lot of cool stuff with MoneyGram via XLM. And sure, that's going to near term pump the token, but they're not using XLM. Yeah, so a little XLM is going to get burned in some transactional. But the fact is that Lumens, Ripple, all these tokens are so efficient that a government running on the back of these projects doesn't really mean that much. You would need such scale, such volume. I mean, and I don't mean like a few trillion. You would need trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions for an extended time to even move the needle at all. That's not likely in the near term. So, I mean, just you guys got to think past the obvious. Remember, the bear comes to the campsite. You don't have to outrun the bear. You have to outrun the fat kids. And that's all the people around you that are looking at the same information you guys are looking at. So you have to get out of your own way. There was this person that I was talking to the other day, and I was trying to reduce some ideas into the simple. And you can't, some of these things are irreducible. You can't reduce some of these concepts so simply. They were like, DeFi is where you make money. I go, you don't understand what DeFi is. They're like, yeah, but I have a passphrase, so there's nothing, no one can steal my money. I said, but you're putting your currency units in a lending pool, in a liquidity pool. What do you think happens? There's two currencies in the pool. They're like, they can't steal it. They don't have my passphrase. I'm like, you're mixing things. That you don't get it. And I realized it was like explaining particle physics to a 4-year-old, a well-intentioned 4-year-old, but a 4-year-old. You can't. Some of these concepts are kind of esoteric. Some of these concepts are a bunch of concepts laid on top of each other. And you have to do the homework too. You have to do a lot of homework to stay abreast of the game theoretics in this. So it's not so simple. And sometimes there's not simple answers for this stuff. So don't beat yourself up, but don't assume, oh, this is always a yes. This is always a no. This is always green. That's far too simple for this space. And that's why there's a lot of people that seem really smart when the markets are going up that get effing obliterated when the markets go down a little bit. The difference between my balance sheet in May and my balance sheet right now is about less than 10% difference. Less. May at the top of the market and us right now, which Bitcoin's doing good, but everything else is kind of quiet. The market's down considerably from May. I'm down 8%. But and I'm not going to compare to a year ago but it's way higher, because I realize that this is a constant fight. You always have to be reading and consuming everything. There's no day off. There's no time to chill. There's no big deal. No. Man, if you want to win in this space, either buy Bitcoin and F off, which is actually a technique that probably works, because Bitcoin, I think, is going to do just fine. But I don't think it will move with the veracity, with the potential that some of these protocol layer assets will. And then you could go even further and say some of these other kind of gambling assets. But without gambling, I think if you have a portfolio that has some Bitcoin, that has a good structure around protocol layers, and that has some exposure to AI, you can start to reduce the noise a little bit. But don't think, because I certainly don't think I know it. I'm just consuming all the same information you guys are, but I always lay it against game theory, macroeconomics, and cognitive bias. And I don't go, ooh, here's why I'm smart. I go, ooh, where am I stupid? Where am I stupid? Where's the hole in the game? Oh, I don't understand repo enough. Okay, go listen to every one of Jeff Snyder and Emil Kalinowski's videos, all of them. If you haven't, you're wrong. You won't get it. And if you don't understand, and I'm not being, this is kind of like tough love, I guess. I'm not trying to scare anyone or frustrate anyone, but you guys got to get it. You guys got to drink a can of man and get a case of Act Right. We might experience some near-term fortuity, serendipity, and then start to say, oh, it's because we're smart. Bro, none of us are smart. We are not smart. We're all just barely trying to tread water. But a lot of other people are just gambling, right? The day traders, gambling. People that know how to spell Fibonacci because that's how often they look at the word on their screen because they're looking at Fibonacci retracements, head and shoulders, and all this other stupid crap that does not work in crypto because this is not a market. No one understands this. Zero, zilch, nada. No one. Everyone's guessing 100%. And I mean, I've already made my currency units. I'm good, bro. But I'm not good because now I'm worried. Well, what if I do something stupid? I don't want to give it back. So guess what? You're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. You're never getting out of crypto unless you completely get out of crypto. And then the question becomes, well, where else are you going to go? Fixed income? Good luck. If you believe inflation is 2%, whatever, that money printing is 2%, that they're devaluing the currency 2% a year as the Fed's target. And you're not getting that in fixed income. You're getting less than 1%, probably. Probably the number is closer to like 5 or 6%, what real inflation is. And it's not the kind of inflation that everybody's talking about right now. Oh, biggest inflation ever. No, it's a bunch of factories shutting off, turning back on, supply chain disruptions, that virtuous, vicious cycle that Jeff Snyder and Emil talked about 2 weeks ago. Go listen to those videos. This is all the homework that you do so that when you're in the crypto space, you can make some good value estimations. That's all we're doing. We're estimating value. We're saying, where are these quality assets that look like they have a good team, tons of cash, they have a fertile environment to sell their value proposition into, and they have the potential to get use, utility, and adoption. And, we're going to be wrong about a lot of them, right? You might own 8, 10, 12 of these protocol layer products, these assets, these tokens. And 3 might exist a year from now, or well, in a meaningful way, or 5 years from now, in a meaningful way. There's going to be some condensing of projects. And which is good. That's healthy, right? And some of these projects will just not be interesting anymore. And that's money burned. But, you make value estimations based on the information you have at your disposal. But if you're not doing the work, if you're not reading, if you're not, looking at where money is moving, and if you're also not looking at the legacy financial system and listening, you still have to listen to those idiots talk. This doesn't matter. They're idiots, but people might not know they're idiots. Like the guys at Real Vision, very, very cool guys. Like almost all of them have the most honest of intentions. Like they're decent dudes. And a couple of them have a lot to say that's important, but many of them do not. Many of them are complete morons, which is fine. They're well-intentioned morons. But you still have to listen to what they're saying because a lot of people don't know that those guys are morons and they're hearing. And so the rhetoric is important. And even if you go, this is bullcrap, you don't flush, let the baby go out with the bathwater. You don't want to just dump all that. Oh, this is stupid, I'm checking out. Well, that doesn't work either, because if you don't hear what their line is, what they're up on the podium espousing, then you're not going to understand what that compliant group of rubes that have thick, fat ass wallets, what they're hearing. And in crypto, what does everyone hear? Bitcoin. What do you hear next? Ethereum. Ethereum runs everything, bro. No, it's just number 2 on the call sheet. Right now, people aren't saying Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. Should they be? Maybe. Has Cardano cemented its position as being the next kind of most valuable asset? No, it's like number 5 right now. There's some other assets. Like if we look at, if I unheart, we get Binance, of course, scammy Binance, and Tether, which prints up money at night whenever they want to. And Cardano's down a few cents. So my guess is Cardano goes up about 10 cents. It becomes number 3 again. Binance is it's a scammy token by under a scammy platform run by a scammy individual who's being chased by every regulatory agency on planet Earth, which that's fine. Good for them. But I think you guys got to really, it's time for some self-checks in the crypto space, especially when it's quiet. This is not a big news cycle right now. And I think that this internet's garbage. So I apologize if it keeps shorting in and out. That's just, I have no control over that. Okay. Let's see. Good question. Do you believe the blow off top theory, BTC dominance will go down, creating alt season? No. They say it, the people, because again, it's easy. It's easy to say, oh yeah, Bitcoin's going to blow up and then everything else will go. It doesn't work that way. You do see sometimes when Bitcoin goes on an extended run, people maybe take some profit and to an extent they'll put it into alternative assets. But a lot of times when people are leaving Bitcoin, they're going into stable coins. And FTX, well, FTX is scammy and USDT is scammy. So whether they're in cahoots or not, they're both scammy. You're right about that. They are, just put in cahoots and then in parentheses, douchebag, shiesty, scammy facilities. Yes. Yes. So back to the question, do I believe in some, well, if I believed in some blow off top theory, there's 2 ways I could look at that. My first gut instinct is to say, well, there have been pops in the past where Bitcoin sold off and other coins have picked up. There have been times when Bitcoin sold off and everything sold off. There have been times when Bitcoin got flat and altcoins picked up. I think we are past the very quick bumper sticker ideas that you can look at a few data points and the big one is coming type thing. The big one is coming. The big one is coming. And that will cause this. I don't think that these kinds of things are as simple as if then. If Bitcoin pops, BT dominance drops, then alt season. I think we're always in an alt season, but nothing goes straight up and nothing goes straight down. And these are all just these little vacillations along the path of growing this space as digital assets cure frictions in the legacy or traditional financial system. There is not a chart for that. This has never happened before. So I think looking for those kinds of things, looking for those kinds of indicators, while it's fun, it's an interesting research project or kind of a theory, it's interesting mental Olympics. I think it has very little utility. There are no crystal balls in crypto. We just know that the entire space is absorbing financial products. And also, as this space swells, it's going to bring more eyeballs and they will look at these other projects and go, ooh, you know what? Cardano looks cool. DOT looks cool. Algo might be interesting. What about Matic? So that's going to happen to an extent, but most of the world, I think non-fungible tokens and protocol layers will do more to change the world than again, you could go into those same things laid on top of AI projects. So I guess I would have to digress a little bit, but NFTs, think about this. Everybody's like, oh, NFTs are stupid. No, it's dumb. It's a bunch of artwork. Yeah, right now, maybe, but that's a tiny, tiny little part of NFTs. The whole idea that non-fungible tokens may replace documents, legal documents, last will and testament, court records, any piece of paper that you need to keep could be a non-fungible token. And it could be stored on a blockchain where it could be accessed forever. To me, that makes a lot of sense. Well, is that artwork? No. Is that the Ethereum community on OpenSea trading grandma's will? Maybe, but unlikely. It's more likely taking financial documents, any piece of paper in the financial industry, well, any piece of paper that needs to be saved, and converting it into a digital document that can be audited, hopefully not edited, but at least viewed for the purposes of clarification of some real world agreement, some document that lives on a distributed database that can be reviewed at a later date. And that's a lot. And that's a lot that's not artwork. It's just that artwork is the first obvious kind of easy use case. Cool picture of a bear with a horn or something. Great. Cool. By the way, Bulls on a Block, the evolution event's the 15th. So if you have a bull, it's going to evolve on the 15th. Kind of cool. You'll lock it up if you want to lock it up. You'll lock up the bull, and you'll get a new bull, an evolved bull. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to evolve my bulls. That sounds like I'm saying something else in English. I'm going to evolve my bulls. But I don't think there is a blow off top. I don't think that there is something where because Bitcoin, then XYZ. I don't think any of that exists anymore. I think we're past all that. Now we're just seeing the little peaks and valleys of a market expanding, right? And I don't know if that. So yeah. Anyway, so I hope you guys take a broader perspective of the space, which invariably will get you away from thinking about price and start to think about where's the velocity. What are these projects that haven't been skinned? So I still think as we look at these tokens, what's cheap? I'll go through the list. I think Bitcoin is cheap. I think Ethereum is cheap. I think Cardano is cheap. I think Polkadot's really cheap. Polkadot, really cheap. This thing should be, man. Anyway, they don't communicate really well. Polkadot should probably be right now close to the value, of Cardano. Let's face it, we love Cardano, but they haven't done anything yet. They've talked a lot. Smart contracts, great. All this stuff is cool, but they haven't actually done anything yet. The doing part, we're still lacking. And it's good. And I like the way they're progressing. And this is not a criticism. This is one of the merits of Cardano is that they take their time and they don't put out junk code. And they have a very vibrant developer community. And some of the most incredible projects are going to come from Cardano. And we will look back on $2 as having been very, very cheap and how silly we were not to look at it in a more deeper way. But it's fine. I think Cardano's cheap. I think Polkadot's really cheap, but they don't communicate with anybody. And when I say cheap, I mean undervalued. And that's the way I should say it. I think Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Polkadot, Algorand is tricky. I think it's undervalued, but then again, I don't know. An incredible team and really zero communication. So they need to communicate more, kind of like Polkadot. They need to get out there and communicate more. They're not. So, okay, we'll see. Matic is about right. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Matic, to be honest with you. And I made some good money off Matic. I'm not a hater, but I'm not sure about Matic. I don't know how much more velocity is in that token. Is it going to 10x? Is Matic going to be competing with Cardano, Polkadot? I don't think so. It's going to assist a lot of projects, but as we go into this world where multi-chain, these kind of, you'll use whatever's the most efficient path from point A to B or B to C, and you might go across 15 different networks to get there. I don't know if Matic rises above as something that's super necessary for a portfolio. That's all I'm saying. So I'm revisiting as I go back through my assets. I'm revisiting where I think Matic could go and how excited I am or not to own it. So it's something I'm grappling with right now. Cosmos has moved up really fast. I don't know how excited I am about it at $30. I don't know. Filecoin, important, but not sure yet. VeChain, I think is probably overvalued. People that think it's going up are mostly chart traders because the Fibonacci, the line, the this, the that, the 50-day moving average crosses the 100-day and it's a golden. And That's all fine and dandy, but none of that has anything to do with use, utility, and adoption. VeChain is housed in China. I know VeChain has the thumbs up from a lot of people in China, but hashtag so what? I think people are scared of investing in anything China. I would not put any money into VeChain. Not here. Maybe down 3-4 cents, but not right here. And if I had a significant gain in VeChain, I'd probably be pulling some to the sidelines. Theta, don't know. Near, I think, is undervalued. I think it's undervalued for a variety of game theoretical reasons having to do with Coinbase. Graph token, I'm out. I don't even own it anymore. I like it. I just don't think it's an investment. AR, I like it. I don't know why it's run so hard compared to its peers, but it's a cool project. 1 inch, I'm out. I don't think it moves the needle. Cool, bro, but there's so many of these platforms. I don't think it's that interesting. Rune, I'm less enthusiastic about their team than I used to be. So I think I'm going to stay on the sidelines. Engine, sidelines. Nexo, I like it. It's now competing. I think it's only real peer. It's not Salt. It's not Celsius. Celsius getting regulated into obscurity. Celsius is going to go way of BlockFi. They're going to get overregulated. They're going to get beat up. They actually went out and to private markets to get more money. I think they tried to get another 400 million. It also came up that Celsius they borrowed $1 billion USDT from Tether. They're servicing $1 billion loan from Tether. That's a little bit uncomfortable for me. So I will be removing my assets from Celsius because I don't like anybody that's leveraging Tether. If you're leveraging Tether in a big way, it means that you refuse to do the game theory that results in maybe some kind of disorderly unwind in the value of Tether. For a variety of reasons, we could do a whole 10 series show on that. OGN, I'm not interested, not because I don't think it's a good project, but because I don't think they have any kind of outreach. They don't communicate very well. It's a tradable asset, but it's not something that I would own. Telcoin's garbage. The only people I've met at the company are garbage, but in a really bullish market, some of these small assets will skyrocket. Now, that doesn't make them good. That doesn't mean that they have the potential for use, utility, and adoption. It means they're cheap and people go price fishing and the idiots leave the market. So, and I could go through the rest of these, but on the other side of it, I think Fetch is undervalued. I want more of it. I think Audius is fairly valued. I don't want to touch it here. I would probably start to look at it closer to $1. I don't think this run up is justified from $1. Render, in my opinion, undervalued until NewNet. Singularity DAO, in my opinion, way undervalued. Look at that market cap. When they start running these Dynasets, I think you're going to see some strong moves. Matrix AI, garbage token, but when people go price shopping, the market cap is tiny. It's 6 cents. Songbird, garbage token, and it's being treated commensurate with its lack of anything. It does not have utility. It's a little cash move. Listen, I made some money off Songbird, sold it. So there you go. Thank you, Flare team. AGIX, in my opinion, is probably the most undervalued asset on here. In my opinion, Cody is a big maybe. It's a little bit of a gamble, but I am continuing to dollar cost average into it. And I think Flow is way undervalued compared to the cash they have and what they're doing both with the NFL and some of these other projects. I think this one's going to rocket, my opinion. I think Cody's going to do well if the Dejed project is not a complete fail, which I don't think it is because, again, you're working with the team at Cardano. So we will hear more about that. So Cody probably undervalued. AGIX definitely undervalued. Flow undervalued. Singularity DAO undervalued. In my opinion, Fetch undervalued. And all the way back up. And we have Cardano way undervalued. My guess is as they start talking about what's going on in Africa, Cardano is going to get a big fat bid. We will see. Okay. I did want to show you guys, there was some really funny stuff. I was going to talk about the NFTs on Cardano. If you're a Cardano fan and you like NFTs, a project that I like are these series projects. I'll show you real quick. And then I want to talk about Robinhood. So this is it's easy. CNFT.io. You link it up with your Daedalus account. It's cool. I bought these because I like low numbers and I like artwork. Flow, yes, Flow has a gazillion tokens, but you know what? They have a stranglehold on the sports licensing. So I am still pro flow. I'm pro flow. All right. Spring collection. So these are the collections. There's spring, there's winter, and they're about to come out with, I think, autumn or whatever. But anyway, they have 300 of each of these, and you literally buy them directly through your data list. So if any of you guys like, I mean, I got some really cool landscapes. I like them. I'm okay with owning these. They were like, the most expensive one was like 120 Cardano, which some of the stuff I buy on Nifty, that's dust. So for me, with some disposable income that I can throw towards artwork, I like this art. I like the uniqueness of it. Every piece is a one of one. Then there's a series. Each one of these series, there's 300. So if you want to check it out, go, and this is just the one that I like. There's other projects on there, but I think they're pretty stupid. But go to CNFT, CardanoNFT.io, and bang around and look. And if it's interesting to you, link up your data list and have some fun. What is that? Djed. It's Djed, DJED, and that's the stablecoin, the algorithmically managed stablecoin that Cardano has worked on and put some papers out, and Coty is the one kind of managing the release of that. So that's kind of cool. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about, let's talk about some Robinhood, because that's kind of a funny story. Okay, so we all talked about this. Robinhood is kind of dumb. If you use Robinhood, you should know that you don't own anything that's on there. And in some cases, they don't own anything that's on there, because sometimes they just trade against their own traders, or they reroute trades to their preferred market makers. It's like a whole thing. They get paid for order flow, the PFOF, payment for order flow thing. I'm sure you guys heard about that, where they get paid kickbacks to reroute trades through certain individuals and entities. There is so much not to like about Robinhood. Great, they're pro crypto. Doesn't matter. You don't own anything. You don't own any crypto. If you have crypto on Robinhood, you have nothing. And that nothing looks like that. So anyway, there's a lot of problems with Robinhood, but if you dig in deep, a looming share sale by early Robinhood Markets Inc. investors and a toughening regulatory environment for cryptocurrencies are adding to the, and I don't think it's not a toughening regulatory environment for crypto, but again, this is Bloomberg. So, you get what you get. Are adding to headwinds in the stock market for the darling of U.S. retail trading mania. Yeah, it's never been my darling. I've always thought Robinhood was a dumpster fire. Falling interest in stock trading this is kind of funny, by amateurs as they head back into the office. Yeah, what does that mean? It means as they get off the couch, because there's no more transfer payments, no more free money. So we talked about this for months. When Joe Sixpack runs out of the free money and Joe Sixpack gets off his ass and gets back to work, all the disposable income that he was punting into the market like a dummy, chasing stuff like, failed theater companies and failed car companies and failed rental companies and failed game companies and, dog coin and all this other crap that's of marginal utility, let's say, not to offend anyone, of marginal utility. Dumpster juice. Well, guess what? All the geniuses that put on their bio over COVID, Forex trader, cryptocurrency trader, guru, Reddit, mafia, all this kind of old bullcrap. Yeah, guess what? They're getting nuked. They have to go back to work. No more free money. You're off the unemployment line. You actually have to pay rent, bro, or you're going to get your ass booted. Yeah. So of course you see it in Reddit. Of course it's plummeting, right? The stock plummeted 41% from its peak, even though the NASDAQ's only down 1.8%. Great. A rise of sports betting apps downloading in the US. Some people are saying that it also has to do with, instead of just staring at the stock market, professional sports have started back up in a meaningful way, and people are watching sports and not watching the stock market, and to an extent the crypto space. Again, I don't think people watching NFL Sunday Ticket are the same people that are in there banging through articles on the nuances of cryptocurrency. So I think you're okay. I think it's probably a different cohort, a different demographic for the most part. We can't help but to wonder if the combination of the end of benefits, the return to work, and the return to live action sports are all conspiring to hurt the 3R retail. Retail Robinhood Reddit. So I don't have to tell you any more about this. You see the article. It is what it is. This was very obvious. This was completely obvious even as it started. And it is what it is, but I'm hoping that everybody here had factored this kind of behavior in. And so when we were being harsh on Robinhood months ago, people were like, oh man, you don't get it. Maybe I don't get it, but I think I get enough of it to know that this is a dumpster fire. Robinhood revealed in S1 filing that the increased regulatory scrutiny of cryptocurrency, no. That's what they're blaming it on. Robinhood's basically like, hey bro, people aren't trading crypto as much because regulators. No, Robinhood, because garbage ass platform of Robinhood that cheats people, that steals from people, that's in court settling cases where you guys sold people's tokens well before they sold, where you sold their options positions and got them out of the market well before they sold in an illegal manner, which is why you're paying hundreds of millions in settlements because you're garbage. This is what garbage companies get, and they deserve to get it. Anybody that extended them a cash lifeline, use a dummy. I don't care if you're a hedge fund, you think you know what you're doing. If you gave money to Robinhood to get it past this little snafu, you're an idiot. Dummy, stupid, ignorant. You know, I was about to say a word that would offend the handy capable. I won't say it. You're a dummy. It means that you don't look past the headlines. Hopefully, the one thing that I can inspire you guys all to do, it's not listen to me, it's not take my advice, other than to question all of this stuff. Question all of it. The headlines that you get from these jackwagons, from whoever the hell Samantha Dunn is, which, right? All of these idiots, doesn't matter. Do not take what you read to be news. This isn't news. This just sends you down a path. Oh, Robinhood sucks. Why? Because they cheat people, not because the SEC's regulatory. It isn't Gary Gensler that's the reason that Robinhood sucks. It's that Robinhood sucks, that they steal and cheat. That's why Robinhood sucks. They're like, well, if it wasn't for regulators, well, how about you stop stealing from your clients and you be honest with them that they don't own anything? How about you tell them that you're reordering, you're doing payment for order flow? How about that? Oh, well, no, shut up. Anyway, the warning by Robinhood focused on payment for order flow, a practice that brokerages such as Robinhood and Charles Schwab, yes, not just Robinhood, Charles Schwab, use in order to receive money in exchange for client trade orders. Think about how perverted that is real quick. They get paid from somebody else to reroute your orders. Also, they aggregate the orders. Also, they front run your orders. Also, they trade against your orders. Please let that sink in. That is what Robinhood is. That is what Charles Schwab is. And I imagine that is what TD Ameritrade, and that is what, go down the list. E-Trade too. They all do it, bro. They all do it. This is what you're dealing with these entities that are the gatekeepers from a person that wants to own equity. That's what you're dealing with. So yes, the crypto space has a lot of problems. But when you look at Coinbase and then you look at all these other idiots, you might say, oh, Coinbase, man, scam. But Brian, he's a dick. And all that. Yeah, maybe. But you know what? Coinbase, Kraken, KuCoin, they aren't doing this kind of crap, right? They aren't doing what Bitfinex does. Oh, we lost all this money. Oh, did you lose it? Did you lose it? Douchebags. Anyway, I just urge you to ask questions and not to trust. Do not trust. Everybody's out to get you all of the time. You can't make this space simple. It's not simple. So the more willing you are to be wrong on a personal level, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make flawed guesses, all this kind of stuff. That's what we're doing. We're just trying to assume the value of this weird asset among these other weird assets on, illiquid exchanges among a bunch of other sketchy investors that know just about as little as us, even if they're on a big show like Real Vision or whatever, doesn't matter. Everyone is guessing, bro. And so I just urge everyone here, go back through your portfolio. And if you haven't gotten in the space yet, great. Take some time, understand what you're buying, be able to explain it to grandma, right? Be able to explain it to yourself. Don't own anything you don't understand. And do not believe the news because it's not news. All of this crap is propaganda. All of it, even the wording, even the way you word all this stuff, their S1 filings. Yeah, the nuance in here is to create a narrative that supports your vision. That's creating confirmation bias, right? That's creating echo chambers. That's not the way you want to run, bro. So I just urge everyone to do a little bit deeper research. We will talk to you soon. Stay out of trouble. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Unless it's caffeine. Is caffeine a drug? Really? It probably is. It's probably one of the more addictive drugs. Don't do anything my poor insolvent drunk strung out on meth grandmother wouldn't do, which, is not that much. We'll see you Thursday. And for those of you that want to check out Money Map, you can watch the shows, the replays for free. So if you go to Money Map Press and just look up Nicholas Black replays, I think it is, you can watch the show. For those of you that haven't checked out trading.tv, please go check it out. For those of you that haven't checked out Theta's cool. Go bang around on there. Other than that, good luck, good night, or day. Depends on where you are.
Hey, this is the Prophet with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain. We here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks? This where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to Prophet. Hey, you talking to the Prophet. Hey. We talking condos and nice clothes and driving Lambos. I remember them night codes, we couldn't stand those. We tried to drive on them house roads, but had to stay low. Now there's solutions to hard bills we couldn't pay for. I talked to Profit to get some profit, we couldn't change the top. If it's a stock and I need a cop it, I wait for him to drop it. Ain't no option, let's get it poppin'. We chillin' in the drop. I need some crypto, put it in my pocket. By any means I rock. This is the Prophet with Nick Black. It's time to chit chat. You know nothing about blockchain, we here to fix that. You want the news on them new stocks, this where you get that. So go and grab you a nice chair. It's time to sit back and talk to Prophet. Hey, you talking to the Prophet. Hey, you talking to the Prophet.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.